Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started with our leadership graduation in just a moment. Thank you for joining us. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get started in just one more minute as we let everyone join in here. Good afternoon. My name is Garrett Sheehan. I'm President and CEO of the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce and the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce. And we want to welcome everyone to our first virtual event here at the Chamber. I wish I could say we weren't going to have more, but I think we are going to have several more as we go throughout the course of the year. It was really important for us to be able to put on this Leadership Center graduation this year because our leadership participants have done so much work and have been outstanding teammates, friends, participants throughout the course of the year. So we wanted to make sure we did not miss this opportunity. So since we cannot be together, we thought we would start with this virtual meeting to be able to do graduation today. This again is the 2020 Leadership Center graduation. I want to start by thanking our sponsors, our presenting sponsor, the Regional Water Authority, who has sponsored all of our leadership programs throughout the year. Really great partners, Larry Bingaman, the President and CEO of the Regional Water Authority, and his entire team. We'll hear from them in just a few moments. And also our other graduation sponsors, Access Audio Visual and Woodwinds. Now, normally we would be at Woodwinds doing this event. Woodwinds is extremely gracious with us every year for putting on this graduation event. Again, we're here virtually. We're thinking about Woodwinds, what that location would look like, and having Jeff from Access helping us out with the audio and visual as well. I have some other thank yous that I do want to make sure that I get across. Many of you know Shana Schneider. I know she's on the line today. Shana was a great leader of our leadership program. All of the places that we went to several different great organizations who helped support us and put on the program, all of our presenters, also our advisory committee and Gateway Community College that also supported us. We do have a digital program if you want to access that. Tamika sent that out earlier and we'll send out another copy at the end. But if you go through that digital program that we have, you can see all of our graduates that we will be celebrating today. Those are my remarks. And so now let me hand things over to Beth Nisteriak. Beth is Senior Vice President of Operations and Business Strategy for the Regional Water Authority, and she put together a video for us this afternoon.
Good evening, everyone. Well, this is a Zoom graduation, but I'm happy I could join all of you via technology on this really important milestone. And these sure are trying and interesting times. They reflect a very different world since you began this program 5 months ago, and really, have times changed. Nonetheless, I want to take a moment to thank you and your respective organizations, the Chamber, and all the people who supported you on this journey. Over the past few months, you've had the unique opportunity to develop your leadership skills so you can make a positive difference in our community, and that's so important. More than ever, we will need leaders to make a positive difference. And more than ever, I believe we need values-based leadership. As you graduate today, I challenge you to establish a values-based leadership in your jobs and in your personal life. And whenever I talk about values, I like to start with the values of the Regional Water Authority. We have strong values that continue to be passed down from generation to generation of employees. We call them our STARS values. The STARS values of service, teamwork, accountability, respect, and safety were developed as a team effort by employees to inspire and engage while clearly mapping out performance and behavior expectations. They are the values of the RWA, and they're part of my value system too. In my experience, the best companies and leaders operate with a consistent set of values that serve as their North Star. People like following leaders who are transparent about what's important to them. And I urge you to get in touch with your own value system, and I wanted to share some ideas on how you can develop your own values-based leadership to achieve your goals. First, self-reflect often. You must have the ability to identify and reflect on what you stand for, what your values are, and what's most important to you. Second, be open-minded. See 360 degrees around you. In other words, have the ability to see situations from multiple perspectives and differing viewpoints. Open your mind to consider all sides and options, and don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Third, learn to love change. Change is a constant, and it's certainly the name of the game with the arrival of COVID-19. It's not enough to just accept change. The rule of survival today is that you must lead change or you will be changed. Fourth, show humility. Never forget who you are or where you came from, and treat everyone with respect. Genuine humility keeps life in perspective, particularly as you experience more success in your career. These recommendations can be applied by anyone, whether the CEO of a company or the junior-most person in an organization. It's never too early or too late to become a values-based leader. In closing, this is an exciting day for all of you, and I hope you've gained some great knowledge and experience to give you a well-rounded, in-depth look at the challenges and opportunities facing our community. Our community and our world needs strong leaders with values-based leadership styles, and I know you all will be able to accomplish that. So congratulations, thank you, and I wish you all the success in the world, and please be safe and stay well. Thanks.
And thank you to Beth for putting that together. We have our next speaker, our keynote speaker. We were really excited to have Dr. Joe Bertolino, president of Southern Connecticut State University, as our speaker for this event. And so disappointed we could not hear him in person. Dr. Joe is a very demonstrative speaker and does a great job. But he too was willing to tape a video for us that we're going to share with you now.
Hi everyone, and congratulations. A number of leading Southern administrators, including my own executive assistant, Charmaine Lloyd, class of 2019, have benefited from this program run by our good friends at the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. Its quality is truly excellent, and the value of leadership training is certainly highlighted by the unprecedented circumstances that all of us are now facing. As you can see, I'm speaking to you from my home office. It's certainly not where I expected to be when I received the invitation to address you today. But of course, none of us expected to be where we are at this moment in time. I hope that you are all well and still able to work productively in this new environment. It's certainly an adjustment for me and my colleagues. At my institution, Virtual Southern commenced in full this past week as our faculty began teaching students in online classes and the majority of staff engaged in telecommuting. All have done tremendously well to complete this transition in a relatively short space of time. That's not to say it's been easy, it hasn't. Not only do we have to move all our classes to a new method of delivery, but we also had to shift almost every other aspect of our operations. And daily there were and still are difficult new situations to consider. how to maintain morale, sense of community, and continuing to reassure the Southern family during uncertain times. Then there are the more practical issues. How to begin the process of refunding room and board for 2,500 students. How to safely schedule these students to retrieve their belongings from our residence halls. How to ensure that all students have the opportunity to succeed this semester while maintaining the academic integrity of our programming. How and when to reschedule commencement, an issue that is an emotional touchstone for seniors and their families. As you are graduating from a leadership training program, I thought it might be interesting to share with you a few perspectives from my position as president of Southern. As the leader of a community of 12,000 people, 10,000 students, and 2,000 faculty and staff, I'm well aware that decisions that I make are highly impactful during this time of crisis. That's why it's so important to be surrounded by an informed and clear-sighted leadership team who can provide valuable insight and direction. I've been very fortunate in this regard with my senior leaders and the administrators who report directly to them. A good leader understands their strengths and shortcomings and surrounds themselves with people who complement their own skill set. Combined, this makes for an excellent team, with scenarios often changing on a daily basis in the early stages of our transition to online learning and then campus closure. It was a time for nimble thinking and versatility, but it also called for calm consideration of the facts that we were presented with and analysis that was unmuddied by emotion and stress. Hard to do in the midst of great personal concern by everyone involved. But calm direction, reassurance, and transparency is key. As a practical guide, we have an existing emergency management plan that outlines responses for a variety of scenarios, one of which was how to respond to a pandemic. And that has helped to keep us grounded, move forward in the right direction, and not give in to knee-jerk responses as the situation evolves. Early on, it was evident that communication was key, and the tone of that communication was highly important. We messaged our community through a variety of media, email, social, and video. We thought it was important to project a calming, caring presence, even as the daily newscasts presented turmoil in New York and elsewhere. When I first appeared on video from my home, as I am now, my underlying theme was, we are a caring community, and we will get through this together. Southern Strong, which we've adopted as a hashtag. I sent a video message because I think it helps for people to see a familiar, confident, and friendly face. And it implies that I'm with you, even though I may be president. I'm experiencing the same as you. As a leader, I believe it's extremely important to both compliment and encourage the members of your community at this time. Or, as you know from your leadership practices, enable others to act and encourage the heart. Because in a crisis situation, when you quickly need a unified response, you must do your best to ensure that every employee feels they have made a significant contribution and will be willing to change direction again if we need them to. They also need to know that you care about them and the impact that this situation is having on their personal lives. As you're all well aware, we're not sure when this crisis will abate or end. And so we need our employees to have confidence in our leadership and our decision making. Of course, a large part of Southern's extended community is our students and their extended families. They had a huge number of questions and concerns, as you might imagine, so we did several things to reach them. Along with regular messaging, we staged a live Q&A session on YouTube in which I and my vice presidents responded to questions, more than 700 of them in 90 minutes. The Q&A is still operating on a website that we put together with pages for students, faculty, and staff, and we respond to questions as we receive them. We created video testimonies from faculty and staff, encouraging students as they began online learning. And we have a parents page on Facebook where we message back and forth regularly on group and individual issues. As you know, there are many people in towns and cities across Connecticut who have been economically impacted by the necessary restrictions accompanying the COVID-19 virus. And our students, many of them first generation, many of them juggling jobs with studies and family commitments, are already feeling the effects. So we refocused our annual Giving Day into a day of caring to specifically support students who are facing financial difficulties. We raised more than $20,000 in the first 2 days of the campaign, which extends to April 23rd, and several donors have agreed to match gifts dollar for dollar, up to a total of $50,000. This ethic of care is central to our university's commitment to social justice. And I can't think of a better way to express this commitment than to reach out to those in need during these unprecedented times. I hope that this has given you some insight into the leadership practices that we've followed at Southern. All of us will emerge from this crisis with new insights and new skills, and I'm sure that you'll successfully apply them in your own professions to the lessons that you have already learned from this program. Congratulations again on your achievement, and I wish continued health and safety for yourself and those you love. Stay safe.
A big thanks to President Joe for joining us via video. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all of the support that we get from Southern Connecticut State University. Sending our best wishes to all of the students out there who are having to learn in new formats. It's my pleasure now to introduce Tamika Miller. Tamika is our Vice President of Marketing and Events at the Chamber. Tamika?
Awesome. Thank you, Garrett, and welcome to all of you. I'm so honored that we've arrived at this day. And if we proceed to the next slide, you'll see some images, some photos of the leadership graduation, Leadership Greater New Haven class. These are some photos that signify how fun and really comprehensive this program is. It really pushes you to your limits. So I'll talk a little bit about this in a few minutes, but I wanted to kind of just start off with these slides. As we go to the next slide, the Chamber has proudly served and administered this program, the Greater Leadership New Haven program, as well as the Executive Orientation program for over 30 years. And again, we thank Regional Water Authority for your support, your steadfast support. I will now just kind of give you a brief overview of the Leadership Greater New Haven program. It is a comprehensive program that spans 6 sessions starting in October. And members of the class can expect to participate in sessions that cover a myriad of topics, everything from team building and team management, and orientation to the New Haven region, learning about its history and resources and assets and challenges, organizational diversity, strategic planning, inclusive economic growth, strategic networking, and even entrepreneurism and innovation. So what you learn is vast and you learn so much. Emotional intelligence is another topic, public speaking, personal branding. Members of the class are also given a book. This is a book that's called The Leadership Challenge. It's been on the bestsellers list for many, many years now, well-known book. And members of this particular class will go through the book and learn about the 5 leadership practices, and then hear from business influencers and key leaders across the region and learn their perspectives on those 5 leadership practices. Additionally, as you can imagine, being a member of the class, you will have access to interact with each other as members of the class, as well as all the speakers and presenters that we have the benefit of having come and speak. So it really is a program that is ripe with a lot of benefits from a networking standpoint. And finally, one of the key differentiators with this program is our participants get the opportunity to really demonstrate what they've learned the entire 6 sessions by consulting, if you will, for a local nonprofit. They're presented with a business challenge, a strategic challenge, and they use their leadership competencies and everything they've learned in the course to solve that. And they work hand in hand for that 6 months with the local nonprofit. So that's really exciting. And you're going to actually be hearing from the members of the class on their projects and their presentations. If we go to the next slide, executive orientation is really just what the name implies. It is an orientation on the region. So if you are new to the role, a new executive to the area, or you just seek additional attention and want some connection and focus to the region, this is the program for you. It spans 3 sessions, so it's abbreviated, but very thorough in terms of the information that's shared on the resources, the benefits, the challenges, even some of the political dynamics we are also exploring as well. Again, this program, just like the Leadership Greater New Haven program, really does focus on ensuring you make those strong strategic connections and that you meet the key influencers. So we've had everyone from the mayor to other elected officials to CEOs of various different industries and companies and corporations. And finally, just like the Leadership Greater New Haven program, this executive orientation program allows its participants to really brainstorm, understand, and gain insight on the regional issues, and then solve a strategic challenge. So a really impactful question is asked of these participants. And actually, you will hear later on from Ray Andrewson. He's going to walk you through the response to that strategic challenge question. And my final slide just gives you a sneak peek to the new dates for the Leadership Center. So as again, you can see on the screen there, we have Leadership Greater New Haven starting in October. We have 2 dates in October. One will start off with that great team building. So the photos that I mentioned earlier. Typically, we've gone to the Adam Krieger ropes course, where you learn all sorts of different experiences, and you learn all that you can about team collaboration and conflict resolution. So that's exciting. And then we come together again the next day, and we start off with the Leadership Challenge book and hear from a myriad of different speakers. And then the dates continue, as you can see on your screen. And then executive orientation kicks off, as I mentioned earlier, for 3 sessions. And you can see the dates there. So we hope that you will please spread the word to your families and friends and networks. If there's anyone who wants additional information, you can tell them to reach out directly to me. You can also go to our website at gnhcc.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamika. We appreciate it. And yes, please start registering for next year's leadership program, or this year's, I should say. So many things are up in the air, but we are continuing on with our programming. And if we have to make changes based off of social distancing and things like that, we will. One of the, we don't have the in-person event, so there's no drinks, there's no great food, but we're keeping a tighter, more compact program for you today as well. I am very pleased to introduce Christy Lee LaHaye, Managing Member of Global A Energy, a great friend of the Chamber, and the class leader for this year's Greater New Haven Leadership Program. Christy Lee.
Thank you, Garrett. I just had to unmute myself there for a second. I just want to express on behalf of the 2020 Leadership class that we appreciate you guys putting on this virtual graduation for us in this unprecedented time. I will say, because Tamika only gave me 1 minute, the Adam Krieger obstacle course or adventure course, I think, was by far from all participants one of the #1 things that they took away from the group. And we went there as strangers in the morning and left, laughing and, really, really connected after that day at the course. And then I also want to mention Rob Thomas's networking session was also very exceptional. His networking effectively. And then also the very timely, our last session, Pat Lore, with our how to do video conferencing and media. And I've been putting all those skills to use since that day. So I hope that on behalf of the entire class that I have represented everyone's views and takeaways to the best of my ability. And I thank the Chamber, Regional Water Authority, Tamika, Shayna, of course, and everyone involved. Thank you.
Christy Lee, thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. Glad we were able to have you as part of the program this year. So we're now going to move into the team presentations. As everyone knows, a big part of what we try to do in the program is connect our leadership program with nonprofits across New Haven and the region. We have, I believe, 4 great projects that we worked on this year. And I know just hearing from the nonprofits, they are ecstatic with the support that they received from these teams. So our very first one is with our kids. And I believe, Christy Lee, are you presenting here on this?
That is me. Everyone's going to hear me.
Go ahead.
So just to start off, I want to thank my team members. They were amazing to work with. I feel I've gained great relationships, even close friends with Kathy Graves, Nick Bissett, Brittany Barbero, and John Michael Parker. I don't know if he was able to be with us today. But working with this team was an amazing experience, and I think our results will show you that. So our project was with our kids, and they are doing a building expansion. Their mission is they basically are a liaison between DCF and foster care. And they are building a bigger facility in New Haven on Grand Ave. But we had the pleasure of working with them on a collaborative project. We did have a capital budget campaign meeting, event, and that was at the Graduate Club New Haven. So we would like to thank, on behalf of our team, definitely thank the Graduate New Haven, Graduate Hotel, sorry, not to be confused with the Graduate Club. And Markham was also a sponsor of the event. So we worked hand in hand with our kids, with Randy Ruben Rodriguez and Marsha Winter, to host the campaign event on February 6th. It was a great success. As you can see, we had 75 attendees, board members present, increased overall visibility of the organization, and ended up with a net income of just under $6,300. So in addition to that, and I apologize for the typo here, but Global Energy was able to secure energy incentives for the expansion from United Illuminating. Thank you, United Illuminating. And that was in the amount of $11,940. So our net profit to our kids was just over $18,000. It was $18,204. So we feel we brought some great energy to the organization, recognition, visibility, and some funds to help them with their expansion.
Great, thank you, Christy Lee, appreciate it. And so glad you guys were able to have such an impact with our kids.
Thank you.
So let me now introduce Tiffany Lufkin, who is going to talk about the project with NHS New Haven. Tiffany?
Thanks, Garrett. I am happy to present on the project that we had to enhance community engagement for NHS New Haven. On the next slide, you'll just see a little bit of information about our project team. Thanks, Garrett. So Paula, Tanya, Shayla, and I were very happy to work together on this project. On the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about NHS New Haven's mission and vision. They were founded in 1979 as the Neighborhood Housing Services of New Haven. Most members of the community may know them best for the rehabilitation work that they do with houses and helping people to own a home and have that home be revitalized and part of the social, economic, and environmental health of New Haven. Their overall goal involves being part of a bright and vibrant community. So we were particularly working with the community building and organizing department. They had a few very specific objectives that they were looking for, including creating and naming a new committee that is going to work with the community building and organizing department. This department is not involved with the actual house renovations, but rather with other projects out in the community where the housing projects are happening. So they were looking for some information and ways to gather information on how to make the biggest impact with their projects and ensuring that what they were doing fit in best with the neighborhoods and community that they were working in. On the next slide, you can see that we have proposed that the new committee be called the Community Engagement Committee. It is bringing partners together from the NHS project planning staff, as well as community leaders and their most engaged volunteers. We have proposed, oh, sorry, Garrett, can you go back up one? Thank you. We have proposed that the outreach and recruitment for this committee occur at the New Haven Community Management Team meetings, or CMT meetings. Go ahead. One of the other specific objectives that they had mentioned that they already own Salesforce, which is a customer relationship manager software, but they have not implemented it in this area of the business. So what we were able to do, because some of our team members have experience with this software, is work and partner with them on how they can leverage some of the capabilities of that software. It has the ability to collect and sort a lot of data. So we know that NHS has a database with their volunteer information. They have a database with their community partners, and it has the ability to create lists and reports as exports from that. So you can really use it to leverage your electronic communication and really make those events a success, and then track the success of those through key performance indicators. We see it being implemented in a few specific areas related to their volunteers, related to the residents that they work with in the areas of their projects, as well as the larger community outreach projects, and also as a tool for electronic communication and event management, including with their community leaders and as the key performance indicators. So they can really track and leverage all the information that they have. We also created for them a project planning template. So one of the things that they were looking for is when they do a project in one community, they want to be able to establish processes and have that same success in other communities as they move forward and do other projects. So the project planning template is designed to assist with that. It actually allows you to count back from when you want your event to occur with all of the project planning tasks that you have to go through to ensure that they are completed in a timely manner. So it's really a checklist for project management. And what that can do is really allow different staff and volunteers to be able to deliver a consistently successful project across the footprint of the city. And just in closing, it is our hope that these tools and recommendations will aid NHS in their efforts to increase community engagement and participation in their projects and allow them to lead the program with greater insights into the needs and desires of the neighborhoods they work with. For anyone on the call, if you're interested in volunteering, their website, nhsofnewhaven.org/volunteer, you can go ahead and sign up and get part of that information moving forward. Thank you.
Great, Tiffany, thank you very much. I think we're gonna jump one of the groups here and go over to Kathy Schroeder. And so I believe Kathy, this is the next set of slides. We'll get to this other presentation in a minute. We're just having one technical issue. So
there we are.
Kathy there, thank you, appreciate it.
Good evening. Okay, our group started with a lovely organization. It was Partnerships for Adult Daycare was their name. They came to us to help them. I think it was more about energy than it was about anything else. Our team members, Andre, Andrea, myself, Matthew, and Merrick, we were full of a lot of energy. And we were working with Mary Beth Keeley of the organization, Vicki, who has been in the organization for 30 years, and Gina Longo, who was their consultant. The Partners for Adult Daycare is a very small business in Hamden, in an industrial park, which is not where you normally find a service provider that provides elder care in an industrial park. So they wanted basically to have our group help them with marketing because they were having a problem filling their seats. So their initial request was about marketing. They had a brochure that looked like it had been copied for years and wasn't up to date. And they really wanted to express the environment of the organization, which is it was a very homey environment when we went and met with them. So what we asked them, the first question we asked them was to change, would they be willing to change their name? And the overwhelming response was yes, but of course we had to go to the board because there's a board of directors, which Mary Beth and Gina, they handled the board. So, and we also gave them the idea of getting a logo because it's very important. And you know, like McDonald's, you need a logo. So we actually had a contest. We went to, Merrick led that part of this, we went to a website, I guess that you can launch a project and graphic designers actually make up a logo for you. So we had a group of 3 top choices for the name change and the tagline. And I guess there was over like 46, I think, designs we had within 12, and it was $100 they would win. If they pick, if the organization picks the logo, then they get a $100 prize. I think that's how it worked. It was very interesting. Merrick did wonderful with that. And there was 20 different designers, 46 different designs. So the leadership group narrowed the designs down to 12. Then the board narrowed it down. We met with the organization. They narrowed it down to 4 and presented, I think, the final 2 to the board. And that's when the logo at the bottom of this page, which is, and the name, Partnerships Adult Daycare Day Center, was what they wanted. And their tagline is home away from home. And that's when they came up with their logo with the heart and the hands and the house, which is a great reflection of the organization. From that point, we ended up looking at their website and their social media. The brochure they wanted us to redo, they ended up deciding they wanted to go to a graphic designer for that. So we really didn't do much to their brochure. They didn't even have an electronic copy of their brochure. So I had redid their brochure electronically and sent it to them. And so that's basically the only part we did with the update of the brochure. We did give them a huge manual that included updates to their recommendations for their website, their Facebook page, Instagram, outreach and marketing, fundraising, and grants. And we went through the binder with them in our final meeting. And the board was very excited. And I think we kind of energized them. And we had a couple struggles because we didn't know if there was going to be follow through on our recommendations, which is a big part of changing your name. Matt gave them the paperwork. They did file it with the town clerk. So now their name is Partnerships for Adult Daycare Center. They're doing business as. We didn't totally change their name. What I did do, and hopefully my team members are on here, because I did hear from them 2 weeks ago. I got a phone call 2 to 3 weeks ago because they run a grant program out of the city of New Haven as a liaison for the state of Connecticut. And they actually called because they applied, which was great because that was part of our recommendation. I did find out that Gina the Longo, the consultant, is no longer with them. She got a job. They haven't updated their brochure with a graphic designer, which I told them that should definitely be done. And the board became very energized from our project and our discussions with them. They did ask us, they asked me if I would sit on their board. So I told them I would have a discussion with them because they are out of Hamden and not New Haven. And I tried not to do that in New Haven because of what I do for a living. And, but they were very grateful. I just hope they follow through with the recommendations because that brochure is a big thing for them. And I'd like to thank all my team members because we had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Kathy, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And great job. It's really amazing to see all of our groups, the impact that you're having on these nonprofit organizations. But this is very visual to see the impact that you've had. We have Amanda Schenkel with us. And so I'm going to go back. We're just going to go back to a couple slides here. We'll get Amanda all set and ready to go. Amanda.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So my team worked with the Beth Center. We worked on a strategic marketing and communications plan for them. If you go to the next slide, the team here was myself with Regional Water, Janice with the Vantage Group, Jess with Avant Grid, and Nick with Markham. We all worked really well together, and I think we'll all probably still keep in touch based on this presentation. A little brief overview of the Beth Center. It's located in Milford, Connecticut, right near the town green. It's a 501(c) nonprofit, which provides support services and advocacies to those experiencing homelessness and hungry. They serve mostly the greater Milford community. However, they do have impacts throughout the New Haven County. The center currently has a 34-bed homeless shelter, a food service program, outreach and engagement efforts for the homeless in the local area. Their mission is to extend dignity and respect to all individuals and families while connecting them to housing, food, and services within their community. So when we met with Jen, she shared with us that her main goal was to work on their new 5 strategic goals, the number 1 being communications, and she's looking to improve and expand awareness in her regional outreach, to educate the community and build awareness. That was the starting point for our project. So we had a one-on-one meeting with her to drill down exactly what they were looking for in their marketing and communications. Within the bullet points here, you can see they were looking for a new clear message on their long-term community stakeholders, to grow legs and expand their work to decision makers, a low barrier option to a small administrative department, adaptable to the field and new partners, and to speak to communications on their remaining 4 strategic goals. So we took those to heart, and we organized a communication plan for the Beth Center based on those requests. So one of the items we worked on was a corporate letter and appeal template for her. So that way they were customizing letters for every large donor. So this was to help kind of reduce some of the work to the administrative team. we recommended a lapel pin for their large long-term donors to help really bring them in and let them show their pride in the Beth-El Center. We propose that they start doing corporate sponsorship levels and increasing the amount of awareness on their websites and newsletters based on bronze, silver, gold levels. We also recommended that they reorganize their current website to kind of cut down on how to find certain options and basically put it into either financial or volunteer. Within the growing legs and expanding their work to decision makers, we made a lot of contacts with the local municipalities. Both Jess and I work with quite a few municipalities, so we started making contacts and getting the director in touch with as many people as we could so she would have a great network. We also recommended that they design a decal for all of the local businesses that are supporters of the Beth-El Center. So in regards to the low barrier to small administrative department, we worked on expanding the volunteer network for the Beth-El Center. So we worked with a lot of the local high schools, so Fairfield, Pratt, Notre Dame, and the Milford Board of Ed to get a pipeline of volunteers to come in. We also reached out to some of the local universities and colleges in order to get some internship opportunities set up for the Beth-El Center, so they'll consistently have new people who might have a better mind for marketing and communication coming into the center. We noted that they really needed a better social media platform. They have them, they just don't utilize them as much as they could. So who better than millennials or Gen Z to kind of push forward that social media marketing? And then in adaptable to her new field and her new partners, we really kind of focused here on helping with the seasonality and timing of the outreach. We noted that the center currently was only doing a once a year kind of annual outreach. So thinking of ways for them to continue their cash flow in so they can optimize their business. They do annual events, but they did note to us that they were fun to do, but not a great driver of donations. So we were kind of made a plan for them to help reduce the cost of doing these funds. And so that way their donations would have a little bit more bang for their buck. The other item we did is we recommended to her a few local areas that will round up a percentage of sales or round up your order in order to put those donations towards the center. And we recommended those to her as a way to move forward. And then finally, one of the bigger asks was they just needed a plan that would help them continue with the rest of their goals. So we put in a plan here for her on how each of those communication plans would help her reach her facility, housing, human resources, and financial sustainability goals. Jen was extremely glad to meet with all of us, and she thanks everyone that was on our team and in this group for allowing her to participate.
Great, thank you, Amanda, and thank you to all our groups. You guys all did a great job. I know that these projects sometimes can take on a life of their own and take up a lot of time, but you guys have all done an excellent job, and thank you everyone for bearing with my PowerPoint navigating skills as we've gone through. Now, at this point in the program, I'd like to talk a little bit about our executive orientation program. And to do that, we have Ray Andrewson. He's a member of the chamber here, our director of membership services at the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. And one of the first things we put Ray on in January was we enrolled him as a participant in executive orientation. So he took that leadership role as the class leader and is going to talk a little bit about the program. Ray?
Great, thanks Garrett, and congratulations to everybody, all the graduates, and all your hard work and dedication. It's very impressive to watch this afternoon. The wonderful thing about being part of the executive orientation committee, and 5 of us who joined together, and I'll introduce you and tell you a little bit about my 4 colleagues in a moment, is we had an opportunity to solve a problem here in New Haven. And as I said to Garrett and to Tamika and my colleagues, is I thought I knew everything about New Haven, and I still learned a lot in the 3 sessions and in our problem solving. So I'd like to present our challenge question and also tell you a little bit about the 4 colleagues that were along with me. Catherine Gagnon is from Langen Engineering. Elise Mulvihill from Gateway Community College also participated. Weston Ulbrich from Ulbrich Stainless Steels, Special Metals, and Mary Young from Albertus Magnus College. And our question, which was a pretty meaty one to solve, was given the recent trends, events, and developments within the New Haven community over the past few years, such as the influx of startups, emerging industries, co-working spaces, political dynamics, last mayoral tenure, transportation and infrastructure debates, the homeless population, as well as some downtown challenges as evidenced by drug issues, panhandling, parking, etc. How can the business community help improve the quality and vitality of downtown New Haven? Tall order, but we have some answers, and we collaborated. We believe that we need to believe New Haven is the best little city in America, and there is a need to change the regional perspective away from simply identifying urban life challenges as dominating the narrative to virtues of diversity and ease of downtown work and living, which are evidenced by many. So New Haven has marketing organizations already going to work on our behalf, but we might consider a new concept with new hashtags, social media campaigns, heighten awareness of our diverse opportunities. New Haven's already blessed with an educated downtown business population. There's Yale, there's Gateway, many other area students engaging in downtown cultural and commercial life on a daily basis. Those students should be encouraged to remain in New Haven. We should have a campaign and kindle the entrepreneurial spirit by starting their own businesses or identifying emerging businesses where they can share their skills and talents to stay here. And those students should be encouraged to live downtown while they work downtown. New Haven's vibrant income-producing arts and entertainment community strengthens the downtown economy, making it a regional destination center already. The youthful vibe is already present downtown. These future leaders will be nurtured and mentored by the existing visionary leadership that's been established in many places within the city. The Green, as we now understand it, has a unique historical leadership group known as the Proprietors. We learned, if you hadn't learned already, and these custodians of the nearly 400-year-old Green will need to be engaged as new opportunities to highlight this beautiful green space for recreation and gathering emerge in a contemporary way. The downtown area is perfect for strolling, taking a meal in from top-notch restaurants, and within a short walk of New Haven Harbor and the Union train station. It needs to emerge as a safe, engaging place to relax and socialize. The harbor and Long Wharf Drive remain an underutilized part of the city core, adjacent to the downtown, although it is adjacent to the interstate highway, which makes it kind of noisy. It's still a soothing spot to sit and enjoy for the view. New developments along the harbor, such as the Canal Dock Boathouse, offer inspiration and a place to meet the whole stretch of the harbor in front of you, which needs to be made accessible to recreation and walks. And the increased use of safety-enhanced bike accessible lanes will enhance the quality of downtown life, making places like the harbor easier to get to on a given day. Biotech and new emerging health-related research industries present bright possibilities for downtown New Haven. Yale New Haven Health's remarkable growth and ability to attract research facilities nearby, heralding a new economy for New Haven, offers greater possibilities for the future. The expansion of Tweed New Haven Airport to the size of business travel back in the 1970s and 1980s from that era would be a welcome development. Air and train accessibility would enhance New Haven as a centralized place for research, activity, and an easy place to live to access both these transportation centers. The nonprofit organizations such as Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, United Way as well, are timeless organizations that have been around as part of our civic life for about a century, and they have had great focus on improvements in New Haven life. There are challenges such as systemic poverty, a lack of diverse, affordable housing downtown, which makes complete downtown renaissance challenging. Parking challenges are real, must be addressed through shuttles or the creation of more lots on the outskirts of the immediate downtown core region. Emerging co-working spaces and new telecommuting might free up downtown office space for apartment conversion, but will create a stress on landlords during these times of change. When we put this together, we did this in the last couple of weeks, my colleagues and myself. Obviously, things have changed in the last month. There remains great uncertainty as we address this about the effect of COVID-19, this crisis, as we present these findings. And that's it from the Executive Orientation Committee.
Great. Thank you, Ray. We appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who participated in executive orientation. So we're coming to the end of our program. We normally give out certificates for all of our graduates. What you see on the screen is the kind of blank certificate. Now I'm going to veer a little bit from the script here, and this is dangerous, but I just felt as though we should name off all of our leadership graduates. So I have not practiced the name, so I apologize if I really butcher your name, but I do want to recognize everyone. So we had Jess Abrera from Avangrid, Brittany Barbero from Choate Rosemary Hall, Matthew Carliglio with Mirtha Kalina, Janice Carew, Vantage Group, Nick Bousset, Long Wharf Theater, Sheila Carmen, City of New Haven, Mark Strovas, Regional Water Authority, Tanya Gibbs, Connecticut State Colleges and Gateway Community College, Kathy Graves, City of New Haven and Small Business Resource Center, Christy Lee LaHaye, Global A Energy, Tiffany Lufkin, Regional Water Authority, Andrea Macnow, Gateway Community College, Nicholas Oldak, Markham, and Amanda Schenkel, Regional Water Authority, John Michael Parker, Arts for Learning Connecticut, Kathy Schroeder, City of New Haven, Andre Welsh, Greater New Haven Transit District, and Paula Karen, AVP. So those are all our leadership Greater New Haven graduates. I'm going to give them a big round of applause. Thank you for participating in the program. And now I'll read off our executive orientation graduates: Catherine Gagnon, Langen, Ray Andrewson, Greater New Haven Chamber, Elise Mulvihill, Gateway Community College, Mary Young, Albertus Magnus College, and Wes Olbrook with REMAX. So thank you to all of our executive orientation graduates. Congratulations. It really has been a great experience, a new experience for me and probably for everyone on this line to be able to do a virtual graduation like we did today. I want to thank everyone again who participated. First, Regional Water Authority. We could not put this program on without their support. It was great to hear from Beth. Also, I saw President Joe is on the line. President Joe, thank you so much for the support from Southern, but also for recording that video message for us. As I mentioned before, Gateway Community College, they've done so much. All of the locations, the speakers that we had, our advisory committee. We did something a little bit different this year. We had a steering committee for the leadership program. And these are people who have either gone through the program or hold leadership positions in their own companies. And they gave us a lot of great insight about what we should adjust or add to the program to make it extremely relevant for the time and age. Obviously, things have changed a lot in just the last few weeks. So we'll be leaning on that group again for what we do for this upcoming year. Again, want to give one last shout out to Shayna Schneider, who really helped guide the program throughout. Tamika, you guys have all gotten to know Tamika. Tamika is the leader behind the scenes for the entire leadership program. She juggled a lot this year to really put this program on. She did a wonderful job, and so I can't thank Tamika enough for everything that she did putting this program on. I just want to thank all of you for being here for the virtual graduation, and a last thank you to all of our participants. So I hope everyone has a great night. The Chamber has more webinars coming up, more activities. Follow us on all of our social media and on our website as well. But thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you.